What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Apostles Corner podcast. I am your podcast host, Brian A. Harris. Hey, listen, I'm excited to be back again this week. Makes 2 in a row. I'm doing real good right now. That's 2 in a row. I'm telling you, it's a lot going on. It's a lot taking place. There's a lot happening. But I'm grateful to be back. But the Apostles Corner is where real conversations take place, real people, and real life. Amen. That's what we do. Real conversations, real people, real life. That's the whole discussion. And so although it's coming from my ministerial administration title, the apostles, which means sent one. But this is somewhat of a talk show. It's somewhat of entertainment. It's somewhat of just real life. It's transparency. It's things I can't say in the pulpit, but I get to say it on my podcast. And so I love it that God has given me the gift of gab, number one, and then just a gift to express myself and to talk, to an audience. I consider this somewhat of my radio station, somewhat no different than people that doing radio stations. So I love podcasting. This is a passion in my heart. Listen, I want to say this. Thank you to all of my subscribers to this podcast channel. You guys are the one that's really make the difference. Without you subscribing, without you downloading, listen, I don't know what this podcast would be without viewers. I wouldn't know what it would be without those of you who are in my social media community. I need every single one of you in order to make this podcast what it is. This is what I want you to do, if you don't mind, all of you who are on my social media list and those who are watching this via YouTube, on my YouTube channel, or just listen to it as you're driving in the car. I have some people that drive in the car, y'all. They screenshot it on their way to work. It be 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and they send me photos of them listening to me on my podcast in their car. Isn't that amazing to have people that honor you that much and want to hear what you have to say, and they listen to me before I get going before they get going through on their day. And so I'm excited about it. Here's what I want you to do. This week, I want you to tap into about 5 people, tag 5 people, and tell them, say, listen, I need you to just go and subscribe to this podcast on YouTube and the audio version. Listen, you'll be blessed by it. This guy, he's a pastor, he's a preacher, but at the same time, he's real. He's authentic, and he really gives out good wisdom and different things, and sometimes even a good laugh. So I want you to just invite somebody and subscribe them to help build this up this year. 2024 is going to be my best year. So I want you to be a part of it. I want your friends to be a part of it. I want the conversation to go as far as it can go. All right. So follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, all at the Apostles Corner. All right. And even though those are social media, those of you, again, that driving in a car or in the gym or at work, or you just want to listen to it, I have a whole digital audio podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and all digital audio podcast platforms. There's so much to be said, so many places you can pick this podcast up, and it's all free. The subscriptions cost you absolutely nothing. And I have great joy of bringing this podcast to you every single week. So check it out, man. You're benefiting from something you don't have to pay for. You pay for your phone, and I think the apps are free. And then YouTube is free. So you just getting information downloaded to you for free. All right, let's get going. Listen, I don't know what that was. I guess it's something from a towel or something. But anyway, but listen, there's a lot been going on. It's a lot, all in a week. A lot been going on all in a week. I promise you, people don't text me or nothing until I get on this podcast. I get like 1,000 texts, people inboxing me on Facebook. It's almost like I'm live or something, like, hi, Brian. You know what I'm saying? Nobody Nobody says anything to me until I'm trying to do something. Have you ever experienced that? Let's have that conversation right briefly. Have you ever had that conversation? I mean, that issue happen to you, like all day you could be just like chilled and wanting somebody to say hi and nothing. Then the moment you get into purpose and to something that you're passionate about, where you have to keep your memory and you have to, keep your focus, here they come. Everybody out of the woodwork, just pop, 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 pop. Everybody just texting and inboxing and calling, all that. So that's my rant today. Please stop doing that. Now y'all don't know what I'm doing anyway. But at the end of the day, listen, there's a lot been going on. I told you last week that my cousin Steve Harris passed away under 30. Man, it's heartbreaking. I don't want to think about it. I really don't want to visit it. We were supposed to bury him this week, but turns out that the ice and the snow and all that is keeping us from doing all of that, which I'm grateful for, because I wouldn't have been able to attend if they was going to go ahead and have it, the funeral. Then I preached on Sunday, and the man who prayed me into ministry, he passed away right after I heard about it, right after I got done preaching online this past Sunday. And just so many people who have just passed away in a matter of days, just gone. And that is a real eye opener. That is a real eye catcher. So before I even get started today, I want to encourage everybody to live for God, live with a pure heart, live with a forgiving heart, live with a repentant heart, live a life that is pleasing to God. Life is really as short as it seems. Half the people who passed away this week were under 50. Like, it's only one that I know of that death may have made sense that it would take them out, and he had issues and stuff, but everybody else, absolutely nothing that I know of was wrong. In South, one of my friends got found in a car. He had an accident, and I'm sure that it may have had something to do with the weather and all of that stuff taking place. And he was just found in a wrecking yard, maybe because of them pulling the cars away, and they may have thought somebody had abandoned, but he was found in the car in a wrecking yard. I mean, come on, man. Like, this is getting crazy out here. So I don't really like all of that and all of this that's going on, but I know God is God, and I have to thank God for my life, even if I have to also thank him for the lives that were lived, and appreciate him for the time that was spent with all of these people. It's just so much taking place right now. So we want to pray for all of the families that are struggling. We want to pray for them that are losing people. I mean, 2024 has come in like flat out swinging. And if you're not swinging in grief, you're swinging, trying to, deal with relationships and the turmoil and the turbulence of relationships. I've dealt with that this year already. Good Lord, it's so much. And then, the physical health. I'm actually kind of thankful that it started snowing and the ice came, because it slowed me down, and it gave me a chance to recover me. And everybody need an opportunity to recover themselves. And I needed, and I didn't know I needed it, that I got, just to recover me for a couple of weeks. And it's been beautiful just to hear from God, to pray to God, to assess myself, to make some beautiful decisions for me, so I can be healthy, so I can be consistent, so that I can be faithful in the areas where I need to be faithful, and ultimately that I can be disciplined in the things that I need to be disciplined in. And so I'm really grateful for the last couple of weeks, or the week that we have had with the snow and the ice. Grateful that we've had power this whole time, thank God. And it's just been great. Anyway, let's get into the podcast before y'all be like, oh man, he's not talking about nothing. This is season 4, and we've been talking about labels. And episode 3 is, I'm going to call it today, You Don't Know Me. You don't know me. We can all right now, I bet it's like 50 people listening to this going like, hey, dude, this dude sound like he's talking about Madea today. But the reality is, I'm talking about the definition, the dangers, and the disappointment of stereotypes. I'm talking about the definition, the dangers, and the disappointments of stereotypes. Now, I had to do a little homework because I wanted to make sure that I was bringing you something that was educational, inspirational, but also transformational. All right. So informational, educational, and transformational is really what I want to do here today. And so I'm saying, you don't know me. This is me saying this. And I hope that by the end of this podcast, you would be able to look around at the people around you who think they know you and just say, you don't know me, but not with an attitude of being vindictive or trying to clap back on someone, but literally because people really do not know you, right? The dangers, the definitions rather, the dangers and the disappointments of stereotypes, all right? And so as a noun, the word stereotype means something conforming to a fixed or general pattern. As a transitive verb, it is to develop a mental stereotype about something or someone, all right? And that's really where I want to hang my hat on that definition, to develop a mental stereotype about something or someone. Now, we've been talking about labels for, what do our actions say? What do our thoughts say? All of these things about what does they say about us, right? What does my mind tell me? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So how do I think in my heart? What do my beliefs say about me? What do my actions say? What do the people around me say? I might get to that one later. I don't know if I want to talk about that today, but I'll mention it. The people around me say about me, because one of the things that I read not too long ago is that you are the sum total of the 5 people that you hang around, right? So you are the sum total of the 5 people that are the closest to you, that hang around you the most. So if you want to know who you are, check out 5 people around you, if you have them, 5 people around you, and see how they are, and you'll find out who you are, because you are known many times by association, those that you associate with. And so to develop a mental stereotype about, this is why I don't like stereotypes, because at the end of the day, it's what you decide somebody is, or who you decide somebody may be based on your perspective, your experience, or your encounter with someone, or or what have you, without actually getting to know them. All right. So I looked it up in the thesaurus because I wasn't totally satisfied with the definition that Webster gave me. But I looked it up in the thesaurus because the thesaurus talk a little bit better sometimes than the definitions that come. So watch this. So as a noun, an idea or statement about all of the members of a group or all the instances of a situation, right? So watch this. I like the first part of that. It's an idea or statement about all of the members of a group. Now watch this. What comes to your mind? I'll tell you what comes to my mind. What comes to my mind is racism. What comes to my mind is racism. You're like that because you're black, or you're like that because you're white, or you're like that because you're Mexican, or you're like that because you're Asian. All you black people talk loud. All you black men are thugs. All of y'all are ghetto. All of y'all are this and that. And sometimes, no matter how we are, it's the fact that they think because of the color of our skin, that they can sum us up and group us all together and say who we are because of their idea of who we are based on the color of our skin and their idea of the people who looks like us, right? So it's an idea or statement about all of the members of a group or all the instances of a situation. Watch this. Here it is. It's a generalization of a person, thing, or group of a thing. So it's a generalization. You're not really getting to know me specifically. You're just judging me because of what you think about people that look like me. You're not getting to know me specifically to see who I really am, what's in my heart, what's in my mind. I could be the most intelligent person you ever met. I could be a serial killer as well. I could be whatever that I am, but I can never be just what you think if you haven't gotten a chance to know me. And let's just be fair. Can we be fair? Likewise, we all make the same judgments sometimes with other people. We look at them and we say, ooh, look at the way they dressed. Oh, look at what they drive. Look at where they are. And we judge many times. Let me just use this one. We stereotype people to the point, let's say their financial circumstance or situation. We judge people how much money they have based on the kind of clothes they wear or the kind of cars they drive. Well, I can tell you for a fact, I worked in the banking system before, and I used to open up IRAs, and I used to open up CODs for people. And banking, there is competition, right? There's competition with interest rates, right? And so we compete with the guy next door or down the street or in the neighborhood because we want to be the best, but we don't want to be that far the best. We'll go down one interest rate just to get the business and make people think they're getting the deal, right? So at the end of the day, I used to open up these accounts. Well, there was this one specific guy. He used to come into our parking lot. He used to come into our parking lot. I don't even remember the name, but I think his name was like Aaron or something like that. And he was an old man. And he literally looked like he had nothing. Like he came in with the same clothes on every day. He didn't look real clean or anything like that. He was just an old man. And he drive a Cadillac, which I was impressed with, but I was like, he's old. He probably had that Cadillac for 10 years. You know, I mean, who knows? But it looked kind of new, so I don't really know. I can't really say that. But Mr. Aaron, let's just say his name is Mr. Aaron. He drove into our bank like he was about to run over everybody. He couldn't drive, and he was short. So apparently I'm thinking that he couldn't see. So Mr. Aaron came in our bank and he was like, now I got a lot of money here and I don't know if I should take it out because my CODs are maturing and my IRAs and this is such. And I just want to know if I can get the same interest rate as what y'all doing down the street. I want to know about the rates. So I'm thinking you probably ain't got a lot of money. To you, a lot of money, maybe $1,000, $2,000. You don't look like you have anything. So in order for me to fight for his interest rate, I had to. It was common to us and taught to us. Go look at his bank account and see how much money he has. That's how we gonna fight. That's how we gonna fight the other guy down the street to keep his business. How much money does Mr. Aaron have in our bank? So I pulled up his bank account. Not only did Mr. Aaron look like nothing, not only did Mr. Aaron drive like he needed to be, need to catch a cab or an Uber, but Mr. Aaron had enough money that it almost like I thought he could own the bank. Mr. Aaron, when I put up his name, under Mr. Aaron's name came up about 8 accounts, all of them over $100,000 each. Now, I'm not just talking about $100,000 in each account. I'm talking about 6 figures in all of them. I'm talking about one had 800,000 in it. I remember specifically seeing one that had $380,000 in it. I remember one having 160-something thousand. That got etched in my head because it shocked me because I had judged the life out of Mr. I had judged the life out of Mr. Aaron. I was like, this is trailer trash for sure. He somebody died and he got this car. You know, he got some insurance money. He just bought the best car. He gonna die in this car. Like literally, like this. He has nothing. Like, what are you coming in here for? But when I saw Mr. Aaron's account, he was no longer what I thought he was. He was a man that I wanted to know. Because and he was a man that I wanted to fight for his interest rate. Why? Because he had more money in his account than he looked like he had ever in his life. He didn't look like his money, but he had money. But that's how we do. We judge people based on how they appear to us. We stereotype them. He was one of the nicest men that I had ever known and ever met. He was one of the best customers that I ever had. And I developed an incredible relationship with Mr. Aaron because Mr. Aaron changed my mind about him as soon as I pulled his name up. This is why you really don't have to make a name for yourself. And this is why you don't have to, take up for yourself. This is why, because sometimes your name is all you need. That's a good nugget for somebody. Sometimes your character speaks louder than the judgment that is against you. That's why you shouldn't always fight every battle. That's why you shouldn't try to chase down every lie. That's why you shouldn't spend your life trying to prove yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Why? Because sometimes all you need is your name. Do the work, get the money, make the life you want to live. And it doesn't matter what other people think about you. The only thing that matters is what you think about you, right? Only thing that matters is what God has said about you and what you know about you. You can be a high achiever and depressed if you're dependent on people to make you feel like somebody. That's right. You can have degrees down your wall, but you can be depressed and psychotic and lose your mind because people won't recognize who you are because you're dependent on them to make you feel like the great achiever. I don't know too many achievers that's sitting around here who have done the work looking for somebody to clap for them for what they've done. My wife is one of those people. She will sit back and let everybody think they're the smartest person in the room. But all she has to do is be given an opportunity to speak. And most of the time, she still never speaks on the level that she's educated on because she knows that most people would not understand her if she did. One day, I can't wait to hear her do it because it's just so much inside of her. So stop generalizing people. Stereotyping is making a generalization of a person based on a group of people or something that you think about that person. All right. So watch this. Another definition for this as in a thesaurus as a noun stereotype is to use so much as to make less appealing. Oh, this is why. Let me get to my next point because I could just ride this for a minute. This is why it is so dangerous for us to have this burning craving and desire to fit in with everybody. Ooh, I just said something right there. It really is. This is the reason why it is so dangerous for us to have this burning desire for everybody to like us, for everybody to clap for us, to fit in with everyone. Because it's dangerous for us to believe and say things because it causes us to say things, really. It causes us to say things like, I'm just normal. Because you don't want to be intimidating. You know you're great. You understand who you are, but everybody don't want to hear that. Everybody don't want to see that. Everybody don't want to embrace that about you. You a nerd, but you're trying to act like you're a gangster, and you don't have that kind of swag in your life. You know it, but you rather become that because being a nerd just not good enough for the people that you want to be around. It causes us to believe or say things like, I'm not normal, or I'm just normal. That's what it is. I'm just normal. No, I'm not normal. I'm just normal. Now watch this. One of the most dangerous things that I've ever done, me personally, Pastor Brian, Apostle, your podcast host, one of the most dangerous things I've ever done is try to remain normal when I knew I was extraordinary. Ooh, nothing brings tears to your life like wasting decades trying to fit in. Nothing brings tears to your eyes like trying to get the wrong people to like you. Trying to get the wrong people to accept you. Trying to wear the right clothes, trying to do all the right things, trying to purchase the right cars, trying to live in the right neighborhood, all of that just to get the people who know you to accept you. Especially when you have a past that's not so good. We work so hard trying to redeem ourselves. And let me just be spiritual right here. Let me be the preacher that I am for a moment. When Christ has already redeemed us. No human being can redeem you from your past, no matter whether they accept you or reject you. They can do nothing about the redemption that Christ has already given you. No human being can give you what Christ has already offered you for free. No work included. It was the work, it's a part of the finished work of the cross. You don't owe a man anything. When I say a man, I mean humanity. You don't owe a humanity anything as it relates to you being who God's called you to be. I'm so passionate about this tonight. And I told my wife this. God gave me this revelation 2 weeks ago. He said, your biggest problem is trying to be normal. And I finally embraced it. I'm not normal. But that doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. That just means I'm extraordinary. I don't fit in. And I need to stop trying to fit in. I need to stop overworking myself, overselling myself so that people can accept me and embrace me. If they never accept or embrace me, I'm still the extraordinary man of God that God's called me to be. And that's regardless of my past, by the way. So you got to understand that some people want you to just try your best to be normal because they want you to waste your life chasing their approval. That's good preaching. They want you to waste your whole life chasing their approval, chasing their acceptance. When they already made up their mind, I'm going to let this guy be a fool chasing me, because I feel important for him to chase me when I don't really even measure up to that guy. He's different. He's extraordinary. But him chasing me makes me think that he don't believe in himself. Him chasing me for friendship lets me know he don't think much of himself. Watch this. Trying to hang around and satisfy the same people that I grew up with, or try to make the people like my parents or family members or church people that I grew up around proud of me for my achievements, when I found out the hard way I would never receive their approval or their acceptance for who I am now. You'd be surprised who pretend that they accept you. That's something that I just learned recently. You'll be surprised who is offended by the new you. You'll be surprised at the people who have told everybody, oh, he hasn't changed, and clearly they looking dead at you and they know you're not the same. We have to face the fact that being normal is simply being just like everybody else. Now, we know that if those are fighting words, if somebody told us that we were just like everybody else, we would be ready to swing on somebody. Why? Because we don't want to be identified as like everybody else. Oh, you dressing like so-and-so. Or you just got that car because of so-and-so. Or you just got a house because so-and-so got a house. Or you just got that degree because somebody else got that degree. Or you got this and you got that because somebody else. You don't want to be like no one else. You don't want to be compared to anybody else. You don't want to feel like that you don't want nobody to say, oh, you just in competition with so-and-so and so-and-so. And the truth of the matter is, if you're trying to fit in, maybe you are. Maybe you really want to be like everybody else. But here's a question that I have for everyone. Are you an original or are you a duplicate of someone else? Sit up a little bit. Come closer to the screen. Are you an original or are you a duplicate of someone else? Imago Dei. That phrase means that you were created in the image and the likeness of God. Here's another thing that we say. I'm not different than you. I'm no different than you, because we don't want to offend people with being different. We don't want to be stereotyped. Oh, you don't forgot where you came from. Wait a minute. And I almost made this post early this week, but I forgot. I'm a podcaster. I don't have to post on Facebook my feelings. I can say it right here on podcast. You can post it on social media if you like. Watch this. I almost posted it on Facebook this week. I have not forgotten where I come from. I think the people where I've come from forgot I had big dreams when I had nothing. That I was saying I was going to be a millionaire while I was on government cheese and peanut butter. I had nothing but a dream. I viewed myself in a better place in life when I didn't even know what that really looked like. I was dreaming when I lived at home and our power got cut off from time to time. Our water got cut off from time to time. Our cars got repossessed from time to time, and things just didn't go right. The only life that I knew that was life was church. I didn't know what the world was like. I was green. I was sheltered. I was hidden from the world. I didn't know anything about it, but I saw myself being an intricate, valuable part of the world, not being worldly, but being a very intricate part, putting my fingerprint on this world and on the lives of people. I knew I was somebody before I became somebody. I felt like somebody because I had Christ within me. I didn't have money. I didn't have a new car. I didn't have half the stuff. I mean, literally, the kids in my city, when I was growing up, had little nice bikes. I didn't even have a good bike to flaunt around the city. I was always on somebody else's bike. At the end of the day, there was something on the inside of me that told me I was somebody, and that even though I'm playing with you, I'm playing ball with you as a child, I'm riding bikes with you through the city, you really don't know what's on the inside of me. You have no clue what I'm dreaming about. I'm going from this bike to something bigger. I'm going from this shotgun house that my parents have. They're doing their best. They're working hard. But I'm going from this to a palace one day. I'm going to have customized clothes and shoes and things. And I'm going to have books, and I'm going to have music, and I'm going to have all kinds of things. I never even thought about a podcast, but here I am. I was going to have degrees, and I was saying that, and I was a high school dropout. Now, this degree on my wall is a bachelor's degree that's in seminary for biblical studies. And right now I'm in a Master's of Divinity program. It's testing me because I feel like I'm not smart enough and I don't belong because of the fact that I've learned through the criticism of other people how to tell myself I don't deserve what's best for me. I've learned that behavior. I've learned to think like that. I've learned to believe that I don't deserve anything but my past. Because that seems like the thing that everybody wants to remind me of, that you're no better than your past. You're no better than, we only know you a certain way, so you can only be a certain way to us. That's the Brian I know. I know what buttons to push on him. I know what to do to get him going. I know how to do it. Can I say something to you today? You don't know me. You've never known me. You've never known me. You've never taken the chance to know me. And even though you may have known something about my behavior, even back then, you knew nothing about my heart back then. You knew nothing about my dreams back then. Matter of fact, some of you know about my dreams back then, but you laughed at me then because nothing that I was doing looked like that I was going to ever become. Now look at me. I'm not where I want to be. I'm certainly not where I was. And I can smile about that even if you can't. Don't stereotype me. You don't know me. Watch this. Can I say this also? Because even though this podcast, I can still hear the Holy Spirit. Don't judge me based on one bad experience with me or even a few bad experiences with me, especially when you don't know what was going on at the time. Don't sum me up to a few bad experiences and moments that I've had in my humanity. Don't stereotype me. Don't label me because of a moment of humanity in my life. Because for some people, you try to tell them what's going on with you and they shut you down. Why? Because they don't want to hear the truth. They just want to believe their truth about you. So watch this. So the real answer, you said, I'm not different. I'm not different than you. I'm not any different than you. The real answer is, now this is going to sound real cocky, but hang in there with me. You are different from not only those who are immediately associated or in relationship with you, but because you are created in the image and the likeness of God, you literally have a divine fingerprint. Absolutely not one other person you know has your fingerprint. Woo, that's good. Not one single other person. I'm not any different from you. That's a lie you believe because you don't want people to think you're acting funny. That's something you say to protect people from being offended by the real you. For you don't even stand up for the real person that you are. And the people that you try not to offend would offend you in a heartbeat if they had something to offend you with. If they had growth that was going on with them as it is with you, if they had opportunity to achieve great financial success, they would not think about you at all. They would just live their life and call you a hater if you didn't clap for them. If it was degrees on their wall, they wouldn't care how you felt. And you're around here walking around scared to intimidate people who don't want to see you differently than what they already know about you. Let me go ahead and give you some empowerment right here. Here's your empowerment moment right here from Apostle Brian, your podcast host at the Apostles Corner. Here it is. Offend them anyway. Offend them anyway. Because if you don't be the real you, you don't introduce the world to the real you, you will be the sum total of people's opinion of you. When you go to your grave, nobody would have ever been introduced to the person that you really are. Watch this. So because you are created in the image and likeness of God, you literally have a divine fingerprint. Absolutely not one other person you know has your fingerprint. A fingerprint is also known as an impression. Have you ever had back in the day, we had to go cash checks and we take our finger and we put it in this little ink at the bank And not only do we have to sign it, we have to take out our license and sign it, and then we have to put our finger on it, the fingerprint. Why? Without any name written on your finger, without any extra DNA or anything, your finger is so important to your identity that absolutely no one else has your exact fingerprint. Fingerprint is known as an impression. Who are you making an impression on? And if you're making an impression on people, is it the real you, or do you have somebody else's finger in your hand? Is it your finger? Is it your life? Is it your story, good, bad, and the ugly? Or is it somebody else perfectly washed hand, manicured finger that you want to represent you, but when it's scanned, it's not going to come up under your name? A fingerprint is known as an impression. And when pressed down on something for identification purposes, your fingerprint leaves an impression that out of all of the billions of people in the world that are alive today, your fingerprint alone can never be duplicated. Out of billions of people, you are the only one. So go ahead and cancel the lie right now. You can stop saying to people, I'm no different than you. Oh, I understand. You trying to do it. You trying your best to be humble. But that's a lie. There is no humility in a lie. That's only pride in lies. Guess what? You are different from them. And the sooner you embrace that, the sooner you can walk in your own shoes and make your own impression on other people's lives. Because if you're using somebody else's finger to identify you, then guess what? People will not be able to thank you for doing anything, because whatever you've done for them, you've done by the hand of somebody else. Which makes you fake, by the way. All right, here goes another thing that we say. I'm not better than anyone else. I get it. Once again, you don't think more highly of yourself than you should. That's a beautiful thing. That's a wonderful characteristic, is a biblical principle. You shouldn't think more highly of yourself than you should. However, because you are different, it's okay to feel like you're better than them. Y'all, it's gonna sound more cocky than anything else I've ever said, but I promise you I'm gonna make sense out of it. Not in the sense, you're not better than them in the sense of competition or to look down your nose at other people, but you're better than them because you're the only one in the world out of billions of people who can represent you. And if you're truly becoming all that God has called you to be, then you're better than them, because nobody can beat you being you. Take it a bit further. You're improving yourself every single day. So nobody is better than you, because nobody can be like you. You are in a class all by yourself. Please hear me. You are in a class all by yourself. You don't owe, again, nobody anything. Make your impression. Can't nobody be you. So stop trying to make people feel good about you being who you need to be for you and the people that God has called you to. Just be you. Be yourself. Become the best you. Watch this. If you have to remind everyone around you, watch this. This is a good point. This helped me. And this stuff I've learned, like literally personally. I didn't get this from anybody's book or nothing. This is from life experience. If you have to constantly remind everyone around you that you haven't forgotten where you came from, then you are around people that are offended by your growth, your success, your wealth, your education, your career, and etc. I'm going to say that one more time. I'm going to say that one more time. I'm trying to learn to talk better. If you have to remind everyone around you that you haven't forgotten where you came from, then you are around people that are offended by your growth, by your success, by your wealth, by your education, by your career. And let me just add some spiritual stuff. By your anointing, by your growth in your prayer life, by your growth in your word, by growth in the spiritual gifts of God. They're jealous of you. They are offended that you did not stay the same. They offended that you won't be a homeboy. They offended because you won't carry on the legacy of your family of being failures or mediocre or poverty. They are offended that your life looks much differently than theirs. That's one thing I never try to prove. Just look at my life. Look at my life. It doesn't look like everybody else's in my family. My life looks different. Again, I say this not to tear down my family. It's just the fact that sometimes your family are the ones that can't stand you being different because your success makes them feel like failures. While they want everybody else to feel like they're more spiritual, they're more holy, they're more righteous, they're more this, they're more that, they're more this and that. And because they hang together and smile together and love together and do all these things together, it looks like a wonderful family. But if you look at where they're going, you'll see they're stuck in a mud. They're trapped in the pride of their own failures while they acting like they enjoying it. If these are the people that you are around, I came to tell you today, you are around the wrong people, period. I don't care if it's your mother, your father, your sisters, your brothers, your church people. I don't care who it is. Now, church people, you may have to change, but some people, you listen, there are simply some people you don't have to hang around. You have to love everybody. But you do not have to hang around everybody. Everybody don't need to be in your circle. I've had to learn that. I've tried to share my goodness and my wealth. I tried to share my love. I've tried to share me. I've tried to give myself. I've tried to give my wisdom. I've tried to share what I know and what I've learned. I've tried to share even my degree program with people. If people don't want it from you, they're not going to use it. They're going to waste it. They're going to waste their time with you. They're going to waste your words. They're going to hurt you with their attitudes. They're going to do all kinds of things because it's not that what you have is not valuable. It's that they have no value for you. Take it from me. When people have no value for you, they play with your life like it's a toy. You are around the wrong people. If your growth, success, wealth, education, career, anointing, calling, and your boldness to walk in your calling, your courage to take courage to do what God has called you to do offends people, then you are around the wrong people. Please understand, everybody don't hate you. They just can't stand the fact that you are you or that it is you. And that is not them. That is not them. You're around the wrong people and you need to quickly remove them from your life. Or if they don't move, like I said, some people you can't get away from, like family, church, stuff like that, but you can remove yourself from their lives. It means that you don't have to be entangled in every little everyday stuff with them. You don't have to call them every day. You know, talk to them every day. You see them when you see them. It's like this, you know, you love them, you care for them, but they can't be in your circle because the conversation is different. Conversation is different around people who are jealous of you. The conversation is different around people who think that they know you and think because, and I cannot stand, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. Some of the people I can't stand the most are religious spirits. I cannot stand them. It almost makes me want to throw up in my mouth or in theirs or in their face. I know that doesn't sound too spiritual, but it's a podcast. I can say what I want right here. Watch this. At the end of the day, I cannot stand religious spirits. Religious spirits always think that they're better than everybody else, and they're very judgmental, extremely judgmental. And they swear they're not judging anybody. And at the same time, here's how you know them, because they always lifting themselves up to a place of perfection and spiritual achievement and spiritual high places, and they just they know God more than anybody else. They know, they pray so diligently. They're so faithful and consecrated and deep and prophetic, and they just know everything. When sometimes they really just psychotic. They're ambitious. They're not led by the Spirit at all. They're led by their emotions and their flesh. They are totally missing it, but they want you to think that they are spiritually the hierarchy of the kingdom of God, and they are absolutely nothing more than prideful, self-righteous people who's achieving nothing in life or holiness. That's the truth. That's the real truth. But if you told them that, you'd be fighting with them. If you told them that, you would be fighting with them. Why? They cannot handle you telling them that they not who they think they are. Now, if you say that to them, they will call it judging. But when you achieve something great, when you do something great, when God's clearly elevating your life, they try to make you look prideful just because God is elevating your life. Why? They think they know you. I know people know that my wife is very successful. And I have a lot of what I have because of the success of my wife. But she went first. She went to school first. She got her degrees first. She got a wonderful career first. I started late. I didn't even get a degree until I was 40 years old, or so go to school rather, until I was 40 years old. I had a GED. Up until I was 40, not a GED, I was a high school dropout until 40 years old. When I turned 40, I went to a conference, TDJ's conference, and I had the Holy Spirit speak to me and say, go home and change your life. Go get your GED and go to seminary. That's been a heart desire of yours. Half of your life is gone. Go get your degree. And it seems like everybody was comfortable as long as I wasn't achieving anything. Preaching, they were not bothered by my preaching whatsoever. Why? Because I hadn't achieved anything. Preaching is not an achievement. It's not an achievement. But when I start getting educated in my preaching, when I start becoming more, people don't care what you do. They're offended by what you become. I hope y'all listening to me. People are not offended by what you do as much as they are offended by what you become. When people cannot any longer dictate for you who you are and say what you are, and you just accept it because your life speaks louder than their critique, they hate it. They cannot stand it. They can no longer put you in a box. They can't. Why? Because you moved on to a better and a stronger place than you ever been. And they can't identify you anymore. They want to generalize you. So I was trying to say this, but my wife, she's achieved greatly. She has a PhD, then she has another master's in divinity. She's just an amazing woman. She got called here to Memphis and working for St. Jude and doing a phenomenal job. She's leading a team of doctors and nurses, and they do very well. They take good care of her. So yes, I'm in full-time ministry. She told me in order for me to achieve what I'm doing, she said, quit your job and do your work, because you're not going to be able to do both. And I don't want you driving me crazy. That's what she said. I don't want you driving me crazy. So do your work. And as long as you're doing your work, then we're going to be fine. Everything is going to work out. And it is. It's working out. We're doing good. But I know some people behind my back saying, if it wasn't for his wife, he wouldn't have nothing. If it wasn't for her, she wouldn't do, he think he's something. It ain't his. Well, last time I checked, that everything she has is mine. Everything I have is hers. At the end of the day, it's ours. If you knew my wife and our relationship, you wouldn't try to stereotype us into the typical preacher's family where the pastor don't work and don't bring in no money, don't do any of that, and don't have this and don't have that. You wouldn't try to stereotype us as all pastors out here just chasing women. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do the whole thing as, oh, all the black women, they are just taking care of their families. No, what you would understand about us specifically is that we've always taken care of each other. Is that we always have worked together. Because I was doing things for the home while she was in school. I basically was a full-time dad many times because she was basically having to go to class. Not that she wasn't a good mother. She stayed. She did all of that at the same time. But at the end of the day, I had to pick up my daughter from school. I had to do those things. But she wanted me to fulfill my dreams because I helped her and encouraged her to fulfill her dreams. But if you stereotype us, you're going to think that I'm lazy and you'll think that I'm not doing anything when really I'm doing everything that we as a couple want to happen. And we're not missing anything. God's constantly increasing us financially. He's constantly increasing us in spiritual things. He's constantly blessing our marriage. You cannot judge us and make us look the same. I tell my wife all the time, I think it's funny because I wonder how many people would judge the brown lady that do all the cooking and all that, the vegan cooking and all that, Tabitha. I wonder how many of them still judging her for removing her husband off of his job after she became successful. Everybody's marriage ain't the same. Oh, the man got to be the breadwinner. Yes, that sounds real good. That's real true. That's true. I believe in that with all my heart. But if the man has to upgrade his education, then the woman can take care of the home, and that's her desire. That's her choice to let you do what you need to do. Everybody is not able. God had to teach me that. Don't let people judge you for not having a job that you go to every day, that a 9 to 5. The best thing, he tell me, the best thing you have is a wife who can take care of the whole house. Take care of college for my daughter. Help me in ministry. Do all kinds of stuff. Help me fulfill my dreams, and we don't miss a beat. How many men can say that? Not very many. Sound like to me that you probably just a little jealous by the fact that I get to live a life of freedom to walk in my calling and to live out my dreams and to prepare myself for the next level in my life. Because I won't always be right here. And she sees something in me and she knows my passion. And regardless of how much money I make, she knows that I would never be satisfied with just money. That this right here is my dream. But when you stereotype people, you just generalize everything like you know it. And you don't. You are clueless about other people's lives. Listen, that's all I got today. But I want you to know, live out who you're supposed to be. Stop apologizing to people who just want you to apologize. Stop letting people tell you who you are and you live who you are. I'm not saying you have to defend yourself. I'm not saying you have to talk to people crazy. I'm not saying any of those things. I am really saying that it's best for you to go ahead on and just live your life the way God has created you to live it and let your life speak for you.